So what is it you do?
I'm a driver.
While this year has certainly been a mixed affair for blockbusters, there have been a handful of smaller budgeted genre picks that are gradually propelling 2017 towards being a vintage year for cinema. After Get Out fused sci-fi horror with a cutting racial analogy, soon came along Colossal mixing up a small-town indie drama with a full-on monster movie, and now we get this latest twisted genre treat from the magpie mind of director Edgar Wright.
They listen to the music all the time?
Is he mental?
Baby Driver isn't just the gasoline-infused crime thriller that the trailers have been promising, but it also lends itself to the resurgent genre of the musical. Worry not though, as Edgar Wright's method of marrying music with film is far more intrinsic and integrated than a recent simpering symphony that was the best musical about snowflakes since Frozen. But likewise, this isn't just a case of picking the perfect tune to complement a scene like we see in the works of Scorsese and Tarantino, since the music in Baby Driver is diegetic throughout as it pumps into our protagonist's earbuds on a constant basis to help him drown out his tinnitus. In the opening scene where Baby soundtracks a bank heist with the John Spencer blues explosion, he not only dances inside the car but uses the car itself to dance as well, and there are plenty more nice touches like syncopated gunfire with Queen's Brighton Rock and a gunfight ensuing on cue during the stop in Tequila by the Champs. Of course, these sonic flourishes wouldn't matter for shit if the soundtrack wasn't up to scratch, but it is predictably awesome as one would expect from a director so entrenched in pop culture, and thus you will likely feel compelled to add a Baby Driver playlist to your Spotify as soon as you leave the theatre. And Baby Driver isn't just a treat for the ears either, as it more than delivers on all the thrills and spills in this enthusiastic crime caper. Edgar Wright has proudly proclaimed his latest film to be CGI-free, and this bears out magnificently during several car chases throughout, which are blessed with the verve and flair one would expect with stunts that were performed for real. The influences on these chase sequences are far too numerous to list off. Suffice to say that they start with 1971's two-lane Blacktop and end with 2011's Drive, all while taking in a heavy dose of John Landis's Blues Brothers with a polite leapfrog over the Fast and the Furious franchise. In terms of plot, Baby Driver ultimately owes the most to Nicholas Renfrew Winding's po-faced modern classic, but tonally it replaces all the glacial pretense of that film with a lightness of touch and humour. The stunts, however, are a far more kinetic and balletic take on the iconic car chases from the likes of The French Connection, Bullet and Driver. But while Baby Driver's tyre squealing and pop songs will gather most of the headlines, it was actually Wright's script that left me feeling most satisfied with the movie. The dialogue may be conspicuously jingoistic, but its hard-boiled nature at times reaches the peaks of some of Billy Wilder's noirish work, and I really can't pay it a much higher compliment than that. As for the cast, Ansel Elgort successfully graduates into a grown-up leading man after serving his time in primarily adolescent affairs, and he infuses Baby with the requisite Ferris Bueller cool and charm that Edgar Wright clearly demanded of him. The supporting cast members pretty much do exactly as you'd expect, with Spacey bringing his trademark slimy charm as the crime boss who Baby is beholden to against his will, while Jamie Foxx brings all the gangster he can muster as he chews the scenery with the appetite that only actors with an Oscar on their mantelpiece ever seem to possess. If there is a weakness here though, Jon Hamm just doesn't seem to be on quite the same wavelength as everyone else. As one of television's brightest and best looking stars, he is still struggling to make the transition to the big screen. The former Don Draper doesn't turn in a bad performance by any means, he just seems to be taking proceedings a bit more seriously than everyone else, and as a result he is less fun than the rest of the film's other antagonists.
What is your name?
Baby.
Your name's Baby. B-A-B-Y, baby.
Make no mistake though, Baby Driver is Edgar Wright's best film since he mashed up the zombie genre with a British sitcom in Shaun of the Dead, after a few other experiments in mixing genres that had uneven results. His pitch here of setting up thrilling action set pieces as musical numbers works like a charm, and they're complemented by some of the accomplished director's best camera work and writing to date. He has even sweetened the deal with a cute romance as Baby's driving motivation, and as such, he has probably created this year's ultimate date movie. Basically, go see it. because this future classic is one hell of a ride and it deserves all the attention it can get. For more reviews and views like these, be sure to visit heroindex.net and of course, hit the like and subscribe.